Good morning, welcome to the channel. My name is Beena and this tremulous little beauty here is Walter. Hope you are well and hope you're having a good day. It is Friday the something of December. It is a beautiful morning here in Bedfordshire, although it is pretty chilly, 4 degrees Celsius. That's okay, we're wrapped up nice and warm, so it's not bothering us, apart from my chin and mouth, which is frozen solid after a quick blast down the dual carriageway. But I can't really pull my neck buff up over my chin and mouth with the microphone, so not to worry. But apologies if I'm sniffling a little bit, but it is quite cold. But there we go. So this is the literal calm before the storm, because we're expecting a storm to roll in. I can't remember the name of it. It could be Bert, or that might have been the last one. I think it probably was the last one. But yeah, around about midday today, in a couple of hours time, it's going to start raining, and it's going to rain pretty heavily. We're going to have some 50-mile-an-hour winds over the next few days. So this is a fortuitous break in the weather for me, because it was pissing it down all yesterday, and the day before was quite wet and windy. It's been a bit of a miserable week. It is winter, isn't it? I mean, what can we expect? Not great riding weather, unfortunately, but I don't work on a Friday, and it is Friday and the sun has come out, so this is all for me, I'm guessing. So yeah, we're going to enjoy a little romp around the Bedfordshire countryside this morning for an hour before we get back home and watch the Formula 1 practice for the final race of the year, and then not move from the sofa. Actually, I say not move from the sofa, but I have my first meeting with the local ham radio club this evening at 8 o'clock. So I'll probably be venturing out when it's prime storm time, which will be fun. But hey ho, not to worry. What bit of news for the last week is a bit of channel news. I've passed 500 subscribers, which is amazing. I'm totally shocked at that, to be perfectly honest with you. When I first started this channel back in May, where should we go? Should we go down here? Why not? Yeah, when I first started the channel in May, it was literally just to document my rides here on Walter for my own personal use, and it still is. I just wanted to have some footage of me pottering around, so that when I'm an old man, I am an old man, when I'm an older man, I can look back on it fondly and remember the times me and Walter had adventures. So yeah, that was the main reason for doing it, and people started following and liking it for some unknown reason. So I decided to get a microphone and do a little bit of talkie-talkie to the camera, and more people started liking it. And I said at the very beginning of the channel, in one of my earlier videos, that if I made 100 subscribers, if I got 100%, I cannot talk, it's so cold. If I managed to get 100 subscribers, I'd be really, really pleased. That was kind of my only goal. And well, I've done that and surpassed that, and we're up to 500 now. Who knows, maybe one day I'll hit 1,000, though I'm not sure 1,000 people would necessarily be interested in the insane ramblings of a middle-aged man. But stranger things have happened. I have had a comment a couple of times, I think it's from the same person actually, you know who you are, about making sure that I don't turn into a grumpy old man on the channel, because some of the other channels Royal Enfield maybe, or retro bikes, or just biking in the UK channels do tend to sometimes veer towards the negative. I know as us gents get to a certain age, we start becoming a little bit more grumpy, don't we? And like to have a moan about things. And I'm not immune from that myself. I do try to keep upbeat, but you know, life does get to you sometimes. But I think these kind of channels really are a bit of an escape, aren't they, from the miseries of the world. I know I like to watch them as a relaxing thing to do. So I know what that person means when they say that, because I've been turned off, to be honest, from a few channels lately, because they do tend to be a little bit ranty and moany, and I don't want to get into any kind of beef with any channels. I'm not going to name any channels. That's just daft. I should have been in that one, shouldn't I? Should we go this way? Yeah, I don't want to get into any beef with anyone. I mean, people's channels are their own channels. They do what they like. If it makes them happy and they're happy with that content and people like watching it, all power to them. Yeah, there is a lot of perceived misery and negativity in the world, so I add to it, really. Although, you know, people say that the world is terrible and a lot is broken, but there also is a lot of really good stuff that happens in the world, and we are in a period of incredible technological advancements, medical advancements. You know, people are a lot better off than they were only a few decades ago. We're always going to be living in the best time, you know, unless something absolutely catastrophic happens, but for the most part it's not that bad. It's not as bad as the media would have you believe. I mean, they do tend to focus on the negative, don't they, because that's what sells. And then social media can be just absolutely batshit insane. So the less you listen to that, the better, myself included. So yeah, that person who said that, I hear you. I will definitely... Oh, no problem, mate, don't say thank you. I will definitely endeavour to not be a grumpy old man, he says. Just being a grumpy old man at the fact that person didn't thank me for waiting. Oh, the irony. And I hope that other channels will bring it back a bit more to the lighter side of things. I mean, I get it. I get it that much like the news, clickbaity stuff gets you more views, gets you more engagement on social media. And if you're chasing that kind of thing, then I guess you're going to get down that route, aren't you? And post things. Should we go down here? Why not? Post things that are going to rile people up and get them talking. It seems to be every other day you get some kind of the motorcycling industry is on its knees, and is this the end of motorcycling? The government wants to stop us motorcycling. You think, really? Do they? Is it? Or are you just doing it to get views? So yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting and I'm sounding like one of those people that person doesn't want me to be, so let's shut up about that. Oh, low summer sun is a tricky one when you're trying to ride. Someone also commented on one of my videos saying, how is Walter so clean? And he really isn't at the moment. You'd be pleased to know he's got a lot of mud and muck on him. I took him out last week and yeah, it was pretty muddy and wet on the roads, and it rained when I got back, and I thought, oh, I can't be bothered stand outside and clean him in the rain, and then it's rained ever since, so he's got a nice plating of muck on him at the moment. And once the weather improves in the middle of next week, he'll get a well-deserved bath. That sounds insane, doesn't it? I'm not going to pop him in a bath. Imagine that, just dragging him up the stairs and plonking him in. It's bad enough putting my dog in the bath. Flooding in the field over there. There's going to be a lot more of that tomorrow, I'm guessing. I don't really know where I am. But it's nice. It's open fields and countryside. As always, good for the soul. Strange little sheds there, little buildings in the middle of a field. So lovely having all of these little rural back roads so close to me. Because where I live, quite close to Luton, the traffic is just horrific. It's just rammed all the time. And particularly on a day like today, on a Friday. I guess you must have a lot of people who don't work on Fridays, and you get an awful lot of traffic. And if you're just going places like the supermarket or what have you in your car, you could feel like, oh, it's just awful living around here, so much traffic. And yet you can just take one turning onto one of these roads, and as you can see, not a lot going on. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. It's a bit bloody bumpy. I'm going to do a bit of a ride out in when I get a good day. It's when we get a good clear day and it's not going to rain all day. I'm going to do a little trip to, where the hell am I? Where is this? We don't know. I'm going to do a trip out to Bletchley Park, so that'll be an interesting one for the channel, maybe. I've been once before, and it was really fascinating. I'm sure that most people are well aware of what Bletchley Park is, especially if you're from the UK. But it's the site of the code breakers in World War II who were trying to break the Enigma code. Yeah, and there's like a museum there to that kind of thing. Lots of interesting stuff going on. I've been there once before, like I said, it was a very good day out. And it has oh god, what's the name of the bloody place? My mind has just blanked. The radio. Oh my word, my mind is completely blanked. And it's the radio people of Great Britain. Have a exhibit there and go along to it. And as part of the membership of that, oh, what the hell is that called? Radio Society of Great Britain. As part of my membership for that, I get free entrance to Bletchley Park as many times as I want during the year, because they are stationed there. So I thought I'd pop up on Walton. We can have a look round and take some photos and take some footage for the channel. It's not that far away from me actually. I think it's only about half an hour away. something to look forward to. If, like I say, if we manage to get a clear, rain-free weekend, Friday at least, in the near future. I mean, today would have been perfect, wouldn't it? But it is going to absolutely piss it down and blow a gale in an hour and a half, so wouldn't fancy riding back in that. Crikey, I remember when I worked in Northampton, which is about 40-45 minutes away from me. One day I knew the weather was going to be bad, so I didn't go on my bike, and I went, just go up here, shall we? Why not? I went in my car, and my manager at the time was a biker and a bit of a dick, if truth be known. He hadn't accounted for the weather at all. Oh, we have our first kite sighting up there. Yeah, he came on his bike, and he lived much further down. He probably lived about an hour and a half away from the office. And it snowed. And he had to ride back down the M1 in the snow. And he hadn't even dressed particularly appropriately. And I thought that must have been the most miserable bloody journey back home for him. And I couldn't drum up an awful lot of sympathy for him, if I'm perfectly honest, because he was a bit of a dick. But yeah, it's a little cautionary tale of making sure you look at the bloody weather forecast before you go anywhere on your bike. Oh, I'm leaking out of all holes here. That was too much information, wasn't it? As I say all holes, it's only one eye and my one nostril. Cold weather does for you, isn't it? Who cares? We're having fun. This is nice. Nodded at that man. I thought he was waving to me. He was shaking his asthma inhaler. That's really embarrassing, isn't it, when you do things like that? My wife likes to remind me of my socially awkward moments. As you know, if you're a regular viewer, I'm autistic, and social situations are tricky for me at best of times, and I have a history of making a bit of a tit of myself. And the one in particular that she likes to highlight is when we went on holiday to Spain one year, and we were stood in a lift, and a Spanish family came in, and they were chatting away in Spanish, and I thought that they had spoken to me. So I looked at them with a big grin on my face and said, "Oh, no comprende," and then stood there grinning like a moron, and they looked at me like I was an absolute fool, because I basically just interrupted their private conversation by telling them I don't understand. And my wife was pissing herself in the lift. I was completely oblivious to this. Yeah, she likes to remind me of that every now and then, just to bring me back down to earth. But then in retaliation, I like to remind her of the time when we were down in, is it Cornwall or Devon? St Michael's Mount. I don't know where that is in the UK. I can't remember. I think it's down on the south coast, isn't it? Maybe. But yeah, it's kind of like an island that isn't an island when it's low tide, and you can walk across the path to it. It's like the UK version of Mont Saint Michel, is it? In France. But we went there one day, and on the way back there was a couple of ladies in front of us, probably, I'd say maybe in their late 50s, early 60s. And they had what looked like one of those cardboard tubes that you have whiskey in, that whiskey comes in. And as they were walking along, without any kind of reverence or stopping, this lady just tossed this tube just into the sea. And I was like, wow, that's a really inconsiderate of her. Bit of littering there. And my wife also was obviously appalled by it. And uncharacteristically, she decided to chastise this lady. And she said, really? Really? You're just going to throw that in the sea? That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. And the lady rather meekly turned round and said, they're my husband's ashes. And yeah, she was laying her husband to rest. And it was when I looked at what I thought was like a Pringles can or a tube that Scotch came in. It had clouds all over it, like a blue sky and clouds. And yeah, she was spreading her husband's ashes. So obviously we were mortified. I mean, I must admit, once my wife said that, I kind of backed her up. I had to. She's my wife, so I was like, yeah, that's disgusting. How could you? Type thing. And then she said, yeah, they're my husband's ashes. And my wife was so mortified, but she gave the most insincere apology ever. And it was because she didn't mean to, bless her. She's a lovely lady, my wife. But she was so aghast at the fact that she'd ruined this poor lady's last moments with her husband's remains, that her apology went, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It sounded so sarcastic and insincere. So I enjoy retorting with that story to her whenever she reminds me of my incident in the lift. So yeah, the moral of both of those tales is my wife and I are idiots and we shouldn't be allowed out in public on our own. Right, I think I've probably waffled on for long enough, haven't I, on that terrible story about how my wife and I completely ruined some poor lady's most solemn moment in her life, probably. Let's call it a day. I hope you've enjoyed this ramble and this view of the beautiful looking winter English countryside as we come upon a building site. Great timing, Beena, great timing. Yes, there's the building site, some lorries, a muddy road and some temporary traffic lights. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Bye! Oh, he's going to fling loads of mud at me as well, isn't he? That'll teach me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this otherwise. As always, have a wonderful week. Stay safe in the storm out there, everyone. And if you get out on your bike at some point, remember, stay safe and keep it shiny side up. Until next week, take care and bye.